Okay, this is teaching postpositions. And for the younger students, probably not important to explain the definitions, but just for teachers, parents, anybody else who's interested. So in English, a preposition is a word that comes before a noun or pronoun to show its relationship with another word in a sentence. So common prepositions in English include in, on, at, and with. So for example, the book is on the table. So on is the preposition showing the relationship between the book and the table. So in Lakota, we have what is called a postposition. So it is similar, but it comes after the noun or the pronoun it relates to. So this is less common in English, but many languages use postpositions. So, for example, in Lakota, instead of saying the book is on the table, we would say book, the, table, the, it is on. Okay, so there's kind of a short definition of it. Okay, here are the postpositions that we're going to be teaching. So the first one, you can see the letter O has a little slash above it, so that is showing the stress of the word. The stress of the word is going to be the part of the word that we're going to say the loudest. And it has a guttural H. And so that word is going to be pronounced iochlate. 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 Under something. Second word, stress is on the A, iwankab. Iwankab, above something. Third word, isakib. Isakib, beside something. Next one, ilazata. Ilazata, behind something. And the something in these cases will be mentioned. Akan. Akan, on top of something. So you can see in that stress is on the A. It has a nasal in right before the L at the end of the word. So that in is nasalized, so it's pronounced akan. Akan. And the last one, itokab. Itokab. All right, so there are our postpositions, and you should make cards or quiz them until they get these postpositions down before you do the activities. So we're going to scaffold this lesson, and these are the things that you want to start with, and we'll kind of build off each one of them. But we want to make sure that the students or your children have these 4 verbs down. Sitting, standing, laying down, and flying. So yanke, nage, khpaye, kian or kie, and make sure that they have those verbs, they understand them. And this activity will help kind of strengthen that too. Scaffold 2 is you want to make sure they have all of those postpositions that we just went over. Okay, so we need to put those verbs in those postpositions. We have to create sentences with them. So they're going to have some animal names. So you want to cover animals again. I'm just using these for an example. Igmu, shunka, Tratranka, Wambli, Mahaksicha, and Tachja. And the more animals that your students learn or your children learn, then you can incorporate those into it. And then we're going to need some objects where these animals are going to be sitting, laying, standing, etc. And so we're going to have some locations or some places, some nouns that they're going to have to know. I'm just using 4. So waglotape, a table. And there's different ways to say table, so choose whichever one you want. Tipi, a house. Cha, tree and ble, lake. So scaffold all of these before you start the activity. Make sure that they have all these words down. Okay, so creating this activity, you can use physical props of animals, maybe in different positions. Some that are laying down, like this young fawn is, buffalo standing, a horse standing, dog sitting, whatever. You can use animal props, or you can create your own PowerPoints with these animals doing different verbs of action, laying, sitting, etc. So it's going to take some time, but the more creative you can be, the better. Okay, and as far as creating PowerPoints, you can use this, start the activity. Like I said, you can either use animal props or make your PowerPoints. And so in this case, this cat is sitting, but we're not worried about the sitting right now. We just want to reinforce the animal names. So Igmu is a cat. And so you just have the students repeat what the animal is. And you can eventually, once they get them down, remove all the words from the PowerPoint. And so when they see just a picture of the cat, they'll say Igmu. To make this a little bit longer, but the more animals you get to teaching them, you can just put the English name up. And then they have to reply with Igmu. Okay, so next one, Shunka. And Shunka is a dog. Shunkpala is a puppy. This is probably just like a small dog right here, maybe. It looks like it has an older face on it. But and like I said, just use the picture eventually once they understand the word. And then eventually just take the picture off and maybe just put Shunka up there. And then they have to reply with dog. Or if you just put the English word up there, dog, and no picture, no Lakota, then they have to say Shunka. So these will all kind of reinforce the animal names and being able to read Lakota. Next one, Tratranka, buffalo. Tratranka. Next one, Wambly, eagle. So there are words for the different types of eagles, but we're just using the generic word for an eagle, Wambly. Wambly. Next one, Mahaksicha. Mahaksicha. This has a guttural G in it. Mahaksicha. A duck. This is just the generic word for a duck. Mahaksicha. Tachcha. Tachcha. A deer. Okay, so now we need our objects. We need our nouns. First one, Waglotapi. Waglotapi, a table. Tipi, a house. Tipi. Cha, tree. Cha. Ble, lake. Ble. Okay, so let's cover these verbs that these animals are going to be doing. And this is not restricted to animals. It could be people too. So yanke is to be in a sitting position. Yanke. So the verb that describes something in a sitting position is yanka or yanke. And so why is it yanka or yanke? Because notice that when asking about something sitting in a sitting position, the last letter in that verb is an A. So in the question form, when describing something that is sitting, you're asking a question, is it sitting? Then it is an A. And then in the reply, it changes to an E. So yanke or yanka in the question changes to yanke in the statement. So look at the picture, and here's the example. Remember, this is a cat, so igmu. Igmu. Ki means the, so the cat, igmu ki. Yanka he, or huo, if you want to teach huo, the male question ending. He is the female question ending, but men also use he, but females never use huo. Okay, so igmu ki yanka he. Is the cat sitting? And the reply, so the statement, it's going to change from an A ending to an E ending. So, yes. Igmuki yanke. Yes, the cat is sitting. Our next verb, naji. Naji. So, back in my day, that Z with the little wedge above it used to be a J. And now in most of the orthographies that everybody's using, they use this Z with a little wedge above it, and that makes the zh sound. And if it doesn't have that wedge above it in today's modern orthographies, then it's a regular Z sound, like zuzecha, a snake. But this one happens to have a wedge above it, so it makes a zh. So, naji, standing. So the verb that describes something in a standing position is naji. Naji. So when notice that when asking about something standing, the last letter in this case, in this verb, it doesn't change. Nothing changes in this word. So it's the same word whether it's in a question form or that reply. So here's the example. This is remember shunka? So the question is shunka ki. So ki is our definite article, means the. So shunka ki, the dog, najin hai. Or shunka ki najin ho for the men. So shunka ki najin hai. Is the dog standing? So you look at the dog, he is in a standing position. So yes. Means yes. Shunka ki najin. Yes, the dog is standing. So our next verb, chpaya or chpaye. Something that is in a laying or reclining position. So the verb that describes something in a laying or reclining position is chpaya or chpaye. So here's another example of how this verb is going to change from the question form to the reply, to the statement. So let's look at the example, the buffalo here. Remember, buffalo is tratranka. So tratranka ki, the buffalo, chpaya hai. Or tratranka ki chpaya ho for the men. Is the buffalo in a laying or reclining position? So in this case it is, so tatranka ki chpaye. So it's a little bit tougher of a word because it begins with a guttural H. And so you just have to kind of practice these words. Our mouth isn't used to making these sounds in English, but the more you do it, the better you'll get. So chpaya or chpaye. Okay, and our next one for something that is flying, kia or kie. So you should be catching on by now that how these certain verbs, not all of them, but some of them are going to change from the question form to the statement or the reply. So in this case, wambli is the eagle, so wambli ki, kia. He, remember, is the female question ending. Huo is the male question ending, but men do use he. So it's not wrong to use that, especially around your family members, friends, just everyday conversation, most men will tend to use he, or they might drop that H and kind of uh, blend that kind of H out and use the A ending. So, Wambli ki kiya hai? Is the eagle flying? Haan, Wambli ki kiye? Yes, the eagle is flying. Okay, so let's say that the students have caught on to that. They are able to answer in the affirmative. Yes, this dog is standing. Yes, this buffalo is laying down, etc. This eagle is flying. Yes, and so now we want to move to where they can make a negative sentence. So the way that we're going to do that, there's only two words that are going to change in this statement in the reply. And that is saying yes, because obviously they're not going to be doing that action. So we have to use hiya. Hiya is no. So ha was yes. So hiya, no. And then we're going to add shni after the verb. Shni. So shni is going to make that verb negative. So in this example, you can put a picture of a dog that is standing, right? And you can ask the question, Shonkaki khpaya he. Is this dog laying down? Is it in a reclining position? And so the students or your children will look at the picture. They say, no, that dog is not laying down or reclining. So, hiya, no, shonkaki khpaye shni. So they're going to be adding the shni right after khpaye. So khpaye means it is in a laying or reclining position. Khpaye shni, it is not in a laying or reclining position. Okay, so you can do that with the other animals too. Just ask them, is this cat sitting? Is this deer standing? But make sure they're not in that doing that verb, and then they have to reply with no, that deer is not standing, and etc. Okay, so when you are beginning with your students or your children, you can have these four little directions that we want to accomplish in describing a picture. And you can have them off to the side. Eventually, you won't need them. And up above is the sentence we want to create. So the sentence we want to create is the deer is standing beside the tree. So we could say a deer is standing beside a tree, but right now we're focusing on using ki, the. So the deer is standing beside the tree. So the first thing we have to do is we want to identify the subject. What are we talking about? We want to identify the object, and we want to identify the verb. And then lastly, we want to identify the postposition. Okay, so let's break this down. The sentence we want is the deer is standing beside the tree. So in Lakota, we follow a subject, object, verb. Okay, so if we go down here to those four things we want to identify, let's identify the subject. So the subject in this case is a deer, all right? And then we want to identify the object. So the object is the tree. And then we'll skip over the postposition, but we'll go to our verb. So what is this deer doing? All right, he's standing. Then we can fill in our postposition, right? And remember, it's going to follow, in this case, the tree. So the sentence becomes, in Lakota, Tachjaki, the deer, Chaki, the tree, Isakib, beside, Naji, it is standing. So Tachjaki, Chaki, Isakib, Naji. Deer, the, tree, the, beside, it is standing. All right, and that's kind of be the formula for all the rest of of the verbs or all the rest of the pictures. Okay, so now the next one. This is the sentence we want. The cat is sitting on the table. So you can pause it here, and then for your students or yourself or whoever. And then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to identify the subject. You're going to identify the object. You're going to identify the verb. And then you will identify the postposition. So you should be able to write those words down, each one of those, what the subject, the object, the verb, and the postposition before we put the sentence together. Okay, so let's identify these things. So the sentence we want is the cat is sitting on the table. We follow the subject, object, verb. Before you read that in Lakota, let's look at what is, let's identify the subject. So the subject is the cat. The object is the table. The verb, in this case, the cat is sitting. It's in a sitting position. And then our postposition is sitting on top of the table. So the cat is sitting on the table in Lakota becomes igmuki, the cat, waglotapi, ki, the table, akan, on top of, yanke. All right, it is sitting. So cat, the, table, the, on top of, it is sitting. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. All right, next one, the sentence we want. The duck is flying above the lake. So we want to identify the subject, identify the object, identify the verb, and the postposition. So you can pause it here and write those down, or have your students write it down. Okay, and I'm changing this one a little bit. If this helps you in kind of keeping everything organized. So the sentence we want, the duck is flying above the lake, subject, object, verb. And if we look down at what we identify, so the subject is the duck. And if you want to just, like as you're making your little list, put the next. So the duck, the, mahaksichaki. So duck, the object is the lake. And then we can do the again because we're talking about the lake. Then if you want to put your postposition in next, okay, so his postposition for this duck is above the lake. And the verb that he's doing is flying. So duck, the, lake, the, above, it is flying. Okay, so that sentence becomes mahaksicha, duck, ki, the, ble, lake, ki, the, iwankab, above, kie, it is flying. Okay, next one. The dog is laying under the tree. So we identify the subject, identify the object, and if you want to identify the postposition next, you can, and then the verb, because that will be the sentence structure. You can do that. So go ahead and pause that, put that all together. Okay, next one. The sentence we want, the dog is laying under the tree. You can just go down, and if you want to keep that little kind of direction list and then ask your students each one, and you can fill it in on a board or whatever as you go along. So you want to ask them, okay, can we identify the subject? What are we talking about here? And so in this case, it's the dog. And then we have the definite article the right after it. So the dog, shunkaki. Then we want to identify the object. What is the object? So the object is the tree. And then again, we have the. And then the postposition. What is the postposition? Is he above it? Is he beside it? Is he underneath it? Is he behind it? So in this case, he's underneath the tree. And then the verb. Is he laying, standing, sitting, what? So in this case, he's laying down, reclining. So the sentence in Lakota becomes shonka ki, the dog, cha ki, the tree, iochlate, underneath it, chpaye, he is laying. Okay, so I'm not going to break all of these down. And what we'll do is, like I said, just keep those little directions up there. Put the picture up, and then have the students write it down, or they can answer in class. So you want to identify the subject, identify the object, identify the verb, and identify the postposition. So in this case, the subject is the deer, takhja. The object is the house, tipi. The verb, what is he doing? He's standing, so naji. And then identify the postposition. So he's in front of the house. So that sentence would be takhjaki, the deer, tipiki, the house, and then remember our postposition in front of, so itokab, and then the verb naji. So takhjaki tipiki itokab naji. The deer is standing in front of the house. So next one, identify the subject, identify the object, the verb, and the postposition. So the subject is the eagle, wambali. The object is the tree, cha. Identify the verb, what is he doing? Kie, flying. And the postposition, iwankab, above. So put those all together, try to make your sentence. I'll take a drink of coffee, and then we'll see if you're right. Okay, so the sentence should go, wambali ki cha ki iwankab kie. Wambali ki cha ki iwankab kie. Okay. Okay, next one. Go ahead and pause it. Write down all your answers, subject, object, verb, and the postposition. So the subject is the dog, shunka. The object is the table. The verb is sitting. And the postposition, where is he at? And put that all together. Next one, identify the subject, the buffalo. The object is the house. The verb, he is laying or reclining. And then the postposition, this one could be either in front of or beside. Like I said, it all depends on the pictures you use. Okay, so I'm purposely not giving you the answers to all of them because you should be able to just think of it as a formula and plug everything in, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be correct. So this one, identify the subject, identify the object, the verb, and the postposition. So the subject is the deer, takhja. The object is the tree, cha. The verb, he's standing. And then the postposition, ilazata, behind. So in this case, I'll give you this one. The sentence should be takhjaki, the deer, cha-ki, the tree, ilazata, behind, naji. Takhjaki, chanki, ilazata, naji. Okay, so this one, the sentence should be the cat is laying or reclining on top of the house. So the subject is the cat, the object is house, the verb is khpaye, and the postposition is akan, on top of. Igmuki tipiki akan khpaye. The cat is laying or reclining on top of the house. Okay, this one, the sentence we would want is the bear is laying under the tree. So the subject is the bear, the object is the tree, the verb is laying or reclining, in the post position is underneath. Matroki chanki iochlate chpaye. Okay, and for this one, we didn't cover squirrel, zicha. Zicha is a squirrel. But same thing. So the more animals that you learn, then you can make other pictures out of them. So the subject is the squirrel, zicha. The object is the house, tipi. The verb, he's in a sitting position, so yanke. And then the post position, again, this is on top of. So zichaki, tipiki, akan yanke. It's a big squirrel. Okay, this one, subject, object, verb, and post position. We didn't cover chair. Chair is oankanke. And so you just plug everything in. Just keep that formula. So the subject is dog, shunka. The object is the chair, oankanke. The verb, he's standing, naji. And the post position, beside. So put that all together, and you get shunkaki, the dog, oankankeki, the chair. And then remember, beside is isakib, beside, and then the verb, naji. Shonkaki, wankankeki, isakib, naji. Okay, and then, so for this one, we didn't cover dragonfly, and we didn't cover crick, or creek, however you want to pronounce it. But the sentence we would want would be the dragonfly is flying above the creek. Okay, so like I said, the more animals, insects that you can teach and they know, and the more nouns, then you can kind of really reinforce all of these words and these sentences. So the word for dragonfly is tuswecha, tuswecha. The word for creek or crick is wakpala, wakpala, or you can shorten that to wakpa. And so we have our verb, he's kie, he's flying. And then our post position, he's above it, so iwankab. So the sentence should be, and you can pause it and try to put all that together, but tuswechaki, wakpalaki, iwankab kie. Tuswechaki wakpa ki, naish wakpalaki, iwankab kie.